Good afternoon, people, and here's an interesting story about Henry Cavill and a new, I think it's a movie or some sort of production, I guess it's just a movie, of him playing Sherlock Holmes. However, he's not the star, he's just one of the characters in it. And this entitles an entire film called Enola Holmes, who are Sherlock and Mycroft's sister. So there's Sam Claflin, Helena Bonham Carter, Adeel Akhtar, Fiona Shaw, Francis de la Tour, Gorman, and Susan Wokoma. So lots of big names here. And Sam Claflin plays Mycroft Holmes. If you know who Mycroft Holmes is, he is the older and smarter version of the Holmesian brothers. And that's even admitted to by Sherlock in one of his stories. So when we learn about Sherlock, if you read the whole canon, you learn that Sherlock is not the smartest guy in the block. So it already sort of diminishes his powers of perception. It's just that he's so good at being a detective, Mycroft asks for his help because he's better suited to doing gumshoe work, whereas Mycroft is better suited to doing crazy governmental whatever work. So already we have a great understanding of a hero character or a character in general and his background. So Enola Holmes, in case you don't know, is a book series written by who is it? I don't know. Nancy Springer. Okay, so the way this works is if you have the copyright of an idea, and the copyright has exhausted, I think it's like 95 or 105 years, whatever it is, you can then use that copyright and use whatever you want. You can write your own stories. So you can write, if you want, your own Sherlock Holmes story. Why not? So here we go. Here's an interesting description of Enola Holmes. So Millie, who is where is she? Millie Bobby Brown plays Enola Holmes. As you said, she plays my sister. This story revolves around Enola, and Millie will have a wonderful performance, and I play Sherlock Holmes like a perfect mirror, mapping out the extraordinary wisdom of Enola. Okay, so that's interesting. I don't really see Mr. Henry Cavill as Sherlock Holmes, not in the slightest. He's a bit big and a bit big. Like he's just big all over. He's too tall, he's too big, etc., etc. So the film is based on Nancy Springer's The Enola Holmes mystery novel series. This series began in 2006 with the case of the missing Marquis or Marquess. There are 6 books in the series. The series follows the teenage sister of Sherlock Holmes, Enola Holmes, who, despite her brothers sending her to a boarding school, she sets up her own detective agency to find missing persons in London. Okay, so this is. I don't know if you're familiar with the term Mary Sue, but this is like already. Okay, we have a younger female version, a sister of these legendary people, these super genius people, and she sets up her own detective agency at the age. And some teenage, like, what is going on here? Okay, so here we go. Enola Holmes tells the story of Sherlock and Mycroft Holmes' rebellious teen sister Enola, a gifted super sleuth in her own right, who often outsmarts her brilliant siblings. So already we have a Mary Sue. She's younger than these two, she's smarter than these two, and she sets up her own detective agency. I wouldn't mind if she was younger and set up her own detective agency, but as soon as you say she's smarter, this is screaming Mary Sue. If she maybe outsmarted them here and there, like they're playing games, they're playing tricks on each other, and they either get the upper hand here and there, like kids would do, that would make sense. Like, hey, yeah, they sort of set up traps or logical puzzles or whatever, what kids would do growing up. I'd be like, hey, that's a cool story. What if these two guys had a sister? And I think they even teased that idea in the BBC mysteries of Sherlock Holmes recently, which I stopped watching a long time ago because it got ridiculous. So the idea is not unheard of. It's just a little silly in this context. When her mother mysteriously appears on her 16th birthday, Enola seeks help from her older brothers, but soon realizing they're less interested in solving the case than in packing her off to finishing school, Enola does the only thing a smart, resourceful, and fearless young 1880s woman can do. She runs away to London to find her. Okay, so three children lose their mom. Okay, so instead of having these three super geniuses figure this out, they're like, yeah, you should go off to finishing school, young sis. Don't worry about it. Now it could be like, hey, you know what? We're gonna figure it out. And it'd be like, yeah, they probably would figure that out. That'd be like nothing to them. So either Enola is like so pissed off they're so nonchalant about it, or she's so angry that they're not emotional enough, which is not what you think of Mycroft and Sherlock because they're super logical or they're just logical. They're not emotional at all. So maybe Enola is like the super passionate logical person. I don't know. It sounds contradictory, but okay. Meeting a cast of memorable characters along the way, Enola's caught in the middle of a conspiracy that could alter the course of political history. Here we go. So we go from, hey, I lost my mom, let's go find her. Do we have an entire plot affecting London, England in the 1880s? You're like, oh dear. Enola Holmes puts a dynamic new female twist on the world's greatest detective and his brilliant family. This is ridiculous. This description is ridiculous. If you just had an interesting story of a younger sister of the Holmesian family trying to find her mother, I'd be like, hey, that sounds cool. Sounds like a young adult novel. Maybe there's a murder mystery in there. Maybe there's some action adventure. That'd be cool. There's all kinds of action adventure, like Indiana Jones style, Hardy Bros, Nancy Drew kind of stories out there. This sounds ridiculous. The film is being written by Harry Potter and the Cursed Child's Jack Thorne. It will be directed by Killing Eve's Harry Bradbeer. It is produced by Legendary Pictures' Mary Parent, Alex Garcia, and Ali Mendez. Millie Bobby Brown is also producing alongside Paige Brown through PCMA. So who is Millie Bobby Brown? Let's find out. I have no idea. 11 in the Netflix series, science fiction horror series Stranger Things. Okay. So I don't know who this is, but oh god. Cavill expected to play Sherlock Holmes, and Claflin is playing Mycroft. Helena Bonham Carter will play their mother. Okay, then she obviously plays a major role. She's the person we have to find. Oh boy. Okay, yeah, this is a train wreck waiting to happen. And I'm not saying that Nancy Springer is a bad writer. Maybe she does, because we're talking about mystery. Okay, so you could have a horrible premise for a detective, but if you focus on the mystery aspect, it should be interesting enough because that's the focus of the story. That's what the point of a detective fiction novel is. Who done it? Who was murdered? What's being hidden? What adventure are they going on? So this could just be a silly feminist style thing which gets pushed off to the side so we can focus on the actual mystery, allowing the audience to go along with Enola. Because you cannot have a Mary Sue in a murder mystery. It wouldn't work. You have to keep suspense. You have to keep things in some sort of mystery that everyone's sort of not sure of. Sure, Sherlock Holmes and Mycroft were super genius. They could figure stuff out, but they can never solve it until they get to the end. With Sherlock, he already has a very, very good idea what happened, and he's just going through the motions of eliminating all the possibilities. So he's like, hey, I have like a 90% almost guaranteed chance of it being what I think it already is before he even gets to the murder scene or the missing object that he has to snoop around in. So that's what's great about Sherlock. He's so confident. He knows these things. He has to figure this stuff out. He needs time to think more than he needs more time to get more evidence. If it's like that, it doesn't matter who the hero or heroine is. So this could work. There's a great possibility it could work. But with this sort of setup, with this sort of description, it's a really bad, like this is not how you sell a detective fiction story. Okay? It sounds like you're trying to appeal to a different audience who knows better, who says, hey, I love mystery. I love Sherlock. I love British style whodunit or locked room puzzles or whatever. Great stuff, right? Yeah, of course. You say, oh, it's a super genius. She's younger than these two kids who are already super geniuses, and she's smarter than them, and she makes up a detective agency, and her mom is missing, and the other two don't care, and it reveals a political plot that can change the political spectrum of Europe. You're like, wait, stop. So yeah, this could be garbage. But hey, I have high hopes. I like to think writing has been getting better in the past, well, at least for detective fiction, it's been getting better in the past 20 years. So you never know. This could just be a cute little young adult novel that's written well, or it could be absolute complete trash. Who knows? Let's find out. Thanks for listening, guys. Have yourself a great day.